We will see. What's going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. Welcome back. Poker Live Podcast. My name's Joey One, a.k.a. Chicago Joey. Been a few weeks since I've been in the YouTube streets doing the podcast streets, but we're coming back hot. We're coming back strong. We got some great content lined up for this week and for next week. We got my man Sean Deeb, the 25K Pot Limit Omaha champion, on Thursday. We got my man Doug Polk going to be back on the podcast next Monday, and hopefully, I think I'm going to get something lined up with my man Phil Hellmuth, 15th bracelet winner. I got a nice video coming out about that tomorrow. And that's it, man. Let's get into it. Joining me today on the podcast is a young man who I think was in semi-retirement while he developed Run It Once Poker. He came over to my house. We recorded 5 videos together. We posted a few of the videos, and people really loved them. And it turns out that might have lit a fire under Phil to get back out there. He started playing more. His first session back, I think, was a very high-stakes cash game session in Bobby's room, I believe. And then all of a sudden, he went nuts. He started posting on Twitter. He made up a Run It Once YouTube channel. He started vlogging. He won a goddamn bracelet. He started doing commentary. He's all over the place, man. And he posted a lot of really good stuff about the World Series Poker main event a few days ago. He was posted a bunch on Twitter. And I said, let's have him on. Let's come out of retirement from the podcast. Let's talk main event. Let's talk the heads-up match. Let's talk about winning the bracelet. Let's talk about him. A vlogger, Phil Galfond, a vlogger. Are you for real? Phil Galfond, a vlogger. He vlogged his bracelet winning expedition that isn't quite out yet. But we had him back on. Phil Galfond, welcome back to the podcast, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. And nice intro as always. You never disappoint.
You, I don't know what happened. You got fired up, man. You were in the dark for a few months. You were in the lab working hard to develop Run It Once Poker, and now you've come back out strong, man. You're grinding hard. You're playing cash games all night. You're winning bracelets. You're doing commentary. You're providing insight on Twitter, man. What's going on, man? What brought up this renaissance of coming back into the poker content world here?
Yeah, I mean it's weird. I always knew that when the summer rolls around, I knew I would get back into poker a little bit. I thought maybe I would play a handful of tournaments, probably not play any cash, and work in between. But it just so happened that I don't know when you haven't played poker much for like a year, and it's like, I mean, I love poker, and got a little taste of it, and it was hard to stay away. So kind of pulled me back in. Now that things are winding down, I will have to take a step back, get back to work. But yeah, it was a fun summer.
No cash games, Phil. Why don't you tell people the first cash game you played back for someone planning to play no cash games? What was that game you played again?
They were playing. So I walked into it was Ivey's room because I had to give somebody chips for a friend, and they were just sitting there playing a 3-game mix. Basically, it's 501k PLO, 501k no limit single, or no 1k 2k no limit single draw, and then 2k 4k limit triple draw. And I love all those games. They were playing 3-handed. They were like, Phil, sure, have a seat. And so this was like a week before the series started. I just wasn't expecting to be playing at all, and said, well, I guess I have to play. And so that's where it started. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate when I'm walking through the poker room and there's a casual 501k game going down, and you just invite me for and that happens a lot to me too, Phil. And then
it's like my favorite. It's my favorite.
Like you've been pretty after it. You've been grinding hard, man. You've been playing a lot of poker, playing a lot of cash games, playing a lot of tournaments. What was kind of the highlight? I guess the highlight was probably winning the bracelet, of course. But what were some of the highlights of the summer for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, definitely winning the bracelet was a highlight. Honestly, I mean, I was pretty pumped about going deep in the 3K PLO 6 max, which it didn't end up going well on day 3, but that was a really fun tournament. I was excited about. Cash games have been good, except not results wise. So the cash games are not highlights this summer.
Cash games have been good, except results wise. So.
Well, like the games have been good, and they've been playing like some really fun, like high stakes games and mixes that I really like. But sometimes the cards aren't in your favor.
That's true. So overall, winning summer, losing. What's the summer been like for you overall?
No, it's a losing summer for sure. But it's when you factor in a bracelet, which is an achievement that stays with you. Cash game swings, they come and go, the wins and losses, and so I think I'll look back on this summer positively, even though it wasn't a financially winning summer.
Well, I will personally look back on this summer positively because I almost final tabled the 10K Pot Limit Omaha main event. It only had, I believe, 7,400 less entries than the Newman Hold'em main event, but we're looking to make that number a little bit closer in the future. But that was definitely a highlight of my poker summer, and somehow I had a winning summer. Although to be fair, we can debate how much poker I played. Actually, I had a really good summer online. Never mind. I had a pretty good summer here. I just probably could have played more. That's for sure. But I really enjoyed doing the commentary this year on the Pot Limit Omaha tournament. I actually think that the only reason I did so well in that 10K PLO event is because I did commentary on the 25K and I did commentary on a 1500. But just from doing commentary there, I took away so much and learned so much from doing that I really think it helped me prepare for that. And now you did a lot of commentary on a number of different events, and people really enjoyed the commentary that you did this summer. How much do you think doing something like that helps you kind of get in the zone and maybe see what a lot of these other great players are doing when they approach their own tournament situations?
I think it helps a lot. And even, I mean, doing commentary helps a lot. Just watching at home on PokerGo helps a lot. It's one thing to play with some of these guys all the time and to talk strategy with people or even watch training videos, but to see the whole table and their whole cards as they kind of play it out. And just with the tournament compared to a cash game, there's so many psychological, emotional factors, and you get to see them take effect. You get to see people make some huge folds, or you get to see people make some bluffs that you wouldn't expect them to make, things like that. And it does really, I think, open your eyes, and I find it really helpful.
Yeah, I think that if you're a professional tournament player and you're not watching a lot of these live streams, even if it's not necessarily your game, if it's one of the other games where just a great player's at, you're probably doing yourself a disservice because, like I said, I don't even play tournaments. I took a lot away. And maybe that is why I took a lot away, because I don't play them. Maybe if you're a more seasoned veteran or a professional, you're not really going to take that much away. But I think for me, kind of coming up, always watching cash game videos, watching Run It Once videos, or watching Blue Fire Poker videos back in the day, Shut Up Blue Fire Poker, that always helped me out a lot and kind of really stay engaged and stay in the zone. And I think that a lot of poker players, and probably because they're playing tournaments for so damn long, these things last so long, Phil. I mean, my God, I don't know how they do it, man. Every day, like some of these guys that grind every day, like Joe Cata, he got 5th in the main event, and then he pops in the $1,500 close. First of all, what a psychotic maniac. Second of all, then he wins the damn event for his second bracelet. I mean, someone like that is just incredible, man. Honestly, I don't know how people can. I don't know how they do it. That's pretty wild.
I don't either. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, him specifically, what a ridiculous summer.
Who do you think had who does anyone stand out to you who had a really great summer, who maybe won the summer, or who maybe something about them? I feel like for me, I think about it outside of the main event guys, of course. I think someone like a Joe Cata or somebody like Sean Deeb, even though Sean Deeb has always been one of the top players in our industry, I think taking down that 10K 6 max, taking down the 25K Pot Limit Omaha event, taking down the player of the year, I feel like someone like him maybe stepped up another level for me in terms of the way I might kind of perceive him. And I feel like he's definitely at the top of my list for someone who had a big summer. Maybe a Ben Yu as well. I know Ben Yu was killing it as well too.
Yeah, both of those guys. I mean, Sean is always he's always up there in contention in the player of the year races when he's trying to be. But yeah, the two events that he took down are both like high stakes, tough events with some really, really strong players. Those are two of the more prestigious events to take down. I think just after this closer though, Kata edges him out just with, I mean, taking down two bracelets plus final tabling the main event for a second time. And I mean, really having a great shot to win it too. Like he was in there, he was, I think he had a big edge at the final table. Just, I mean, not only as a player, but just having been there before. He was, had he won that flip, I think would have been in very serious contention to win it, or very likely to win it. I think, it's tough between those two. And obviously, Ben, like you said, John Hennigan, who was up there in the POI leaderboard, also got inducted to the Hall of Fame at the same time. So I don't know. I mean, all of them will look back on this summer very fondly, as they should.
Yeah. Harbs in the chat says the Grinder winning the 50K again is pretty sick. Yeah. Also, the Grinder playing on stream. So us getting a chance to see the Grinder play,
yeah.
I have a friend who plays a very street poker style similar to the Grinder, and they were like, I really like watching the Grinder play. I'm like, I'm like, he plays unorthodox, but hey, I mean, I don't know, like it works, right? I'm a fan. I mean, but take down that 50K 3 times, and that's just fucking.
Yeah, actually, after all these after these last couple of weeks, I forgot about that, but that's a huge accomplishment and ridiculous just for that tournament specifically. The most, I mean, maybe the most prestigious event of the summer every year. To have taken it down 3 times is absurd. So some huge performances this summer.
The Grinders had some huge performances this summer?
No. Just in general, there were some very impressive, like the people that, like the handful of guys we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I think all had some very impressive performances and kind of, I don't know. I don't remember everybody's performance every summer, but this summer kind of stands out as some really cool things happening.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. I'm going to look back on this summer and in a fond way because I didn't get too out of line, and I always enjoy that. Also, I think friends did well this year. He took down a Bracelet, which is a pretty epic thing. And phone charger guys, we shut those guys down a little bit. People said that the phone charger guys, a couple of people, Phil, they shook my hand. They come up and shook the hand. They said, "Thank you for." They haven't bothered me in 5 days. I said, "Okay, this is amazing," but a little bit weird. So, but I don't know. Kind of look back on the summer of the phone charger. It started off as that. It started off more rake is better. It kind of developed into cash game action being completely out of control with the Pot Limit Omaha games, with the high stakes games, with the mixed games. Pretty much everything's been popping this year. A lot of the Pot Limit Omaha numbers were up this year. The main event had its second biggest turnout of all time this year. It feels like right now poker, especially live poker, is in a really great place, and it's kind of booming, man. It's kind of booming. It was really great to see.
Yeah. Ditto. Couldn't have said it better.
And maybe next summer we'll have online poker bumming a little bit again. Phil, what
do
you think about that? What do you think? You want to touch on that a little bit before we get into the World Series poker main event talk here?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've this is now for the first month and a half, have not been nose to the grindstone every day, checking in on things. I actually haven't personally tested the software now in a month, which I'll get to this week. But I'm getting reports and updates, and I check in, and we're getting there. Same kind of. I mean, last time we talked, same kind of. There are always software struggles, and there are bugs that we're still squashing, but the progress is definitely being made, and I'm very excited, nervous and excited.
When do we have a potential date for launch here? I got my trip to Mexico on standby right now. I'm just waiting, kid. I'm waiting for a 24-hour stream. Listen, I'm ready. I haven't been out of the country in a while, but I'm ready. The passport's lined up over here right now, ready to go.
No, I'm still not confident in a date. I wish that I was. We'll see. The other thing is with rollout, there are a few ways we can do it, and it kind of depends. When we have our first kind of larger scale beta test with more of the people, on our beta invite list, which you can sign up for, runonce.eu. When we have a larger scale beta test with those guys, I think it'll shed a lot of light on how quickly we can scale up. And it's just so hard to tell until we have, we've been doing smaller test groups. I mean, internally we're testing it every day, but we've done a handful of small test groups for people outside the company. But we're getting it to a point now where we're gearing up to do a bigger one, and I think that will be very telling in terms of how close we are.
Didn't sound good.
Well, I mean, it's with a I mean, I think maybe if I made that sound bad, it's not a bad thing. I just think it could go, from that point, it could go really well, or we could find a bunch of new, if it goes really well with that group, then we're pretty ready to scale up and try a larger group and then launch. But if it doesn't, and these guys say, well, this caused this, and it's something we never experienced before because we never had people from this country and this country testing or whatever it is, there are just still some unknowns. And I think clearing that hurdle will make things very clear where we're at.
Well, it sounds like it'll be an adventure, my friend. I'll be happy to follow along with see how things go. And I don't really know where online poker sits right now. I haven't really been following it too much these past maybe month and a half. I know PokerStars, they changed the RIP to the max 24 tables. They changed the limit to 6 tables, I believe, here. And yeah, I haven't really been paying too much attention to kind of what's happening right now. But I think everyone's going to kind of get back on the grind with the online poker grind here.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll kind of keep seeing improvements in the industry, and hopefully Run It Once Poker can add to the potential uptick in the online poker world here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're trying very hard to do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
almost there, guys.
Well, let's get into the World Series Poker main event, which is the main reason why we got this podcast on. So, obviously that took place. We had an epic heads-up match take place between Sin and Miles. I believe it ended at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. our time out here. A very non-GTO time to have the WSOP main event, $8.8 million first place awarded. Not the worst time possible, I believe. And overall, I think it was a great match. The players showed a good spirit. The people on Twitter were very positive about the way that these guys shined a light on poker. I thought the match back and forth was really good. I thought we saw some street poker at its finest, Phil. The 3-4 offsuit, 3-betting, the Queen-8 offsuit. I really enjoyed kind of seeing a slightly non-GTO style take place here. Maybe it is GTO. I don't fucking know. But yeah, what'd you think about? What was your takeaway from the main event? What'd you think?
Oh, it was really. I mean, it was really fun. I didn't. I was playing during when they played from 9 to 6, so I missed that day. So I just caught basically the last half of the final table, but I was watching all the way until whatever it was, 6:30, 6 a.m. Yeah, I mean the heads up match especially was just so fun because, like you said, they were just going after it, and they were both playing in a way. So they were playing street poker. They were doing a lot of pre-flop 3-betting with hands that you might not, and they were doing a lot of flop check raising with just total air, and barreling with total air and things like that. And the reason that they were able to is because they were both neither of them were playing defensively. So if I were in there playing a heads up match, it would have been more boring because I'd be doing more limping, I'd be doing more checking back flops so that my range isn't vulnerable to being check raised with total air. But because they were both playing offensively, it just allows for more offense, and yeah, made for a really fun match.
It was very it reminded me kind of heads up circa 2008 or something like that, where it's just these random flop raises because you think the flow's right, you think he's been c-betting too much, you think it was one of those matches to me. And I mean, I don't know, I enjoyed it. Very back and forth, a lot of suspense. I think the biggest thing I wished, and I don't know how feasible this is with ESPN, is that I just don't think we can have this thing ending at 7 a.m. It doesn't make sense to me. They're playing all night long, first of all, for the players, and second of all, for the viewers. Nothing about that seems optimal. I don't know, but I understand that maybe it's hard to schedule that second day. Let's say of the first day, it's supposed to end at midnight, but then they end at 10, and maybe for production wise or scheduling wise, that's not possible. But I'd really like to see in the future if we can figure out a way to have this thing end at a time where people can actually watch it go down.
Yeah, I mean, so they're, in the past they didn't even broadcast it live, if we're looking back quite a while. And so the fact that I really like that they're doing it live, I didn't really like the November 9 break. So I like a lot of things about it. It's really tough with the heads up. Well, with all of it, but especially heads up can be over in 20 hands, or they can take 12 hours. And so it's kind of a nightmare from broadcasting perspective because they have no idea what's going to happen. And it's live, so they can't edit it down to the appropriate amount of time. So I don't know what the solution is. I've seen people throw out, reducing the length of the levels after they've played 2 hours heads up. I don't really like that because they're playing for almost $4 million, and it's the structure of the tournament, and they should, get the proper time to do it. I don't know. There's not a really clear answer. They could, of course, stop at some point and resume the next day. That seems like if ESPN and whoever's looking at the numbers says look, our viewership went way down once, we passed this, 2 a.m. Eastern or whatever it was, or 2 a.m. Pacific, maybe, then maybe the solution is to stop play and resume the next day. I think it feels great to play down to a winner. As a player, I would rather keep playing. And personally, as a player, I don't know. They played something like 12 hours that day, maybe a little more. I mean, that's what you do every day in a tournament. You play 12 hours. You play almost sometimes 13 hours, when you have a dinner break in between. So I don't know. I think they're definitely exhausted, but it's not actually, I don't think it's the 12 hours that exhaust them. I think it's the 10 days of main event every single day and sleeping terribly in between because it's the most stressful and most exciting thing that's ever happened to you in poker. I think that's what exhausts them. But But a 12-hour poker session is just like every poker session I've ever played at a minimum.
I think Garrett Adelstein said something on Twitter. I think because like Scott Blumstein said, if they do this next year, I might not play again. Shout out to the champ, by the way. He was in the gambling Olympics with me. I had a lot of fun with hanging out with him, and lost him in rock paper scissors, of course, because he's some rock paper scissors wizard. But he said something about not playing, and then Garrett was like, they're playing a poker session. This isn't the war. This is poker session, right? This is sure, it's the main event and a very high pressure situation, but at the same time, it's poker session. I feel like me and you, we maybe put in 12-hour days for months straight, and debatably, we probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I can understand both sides. But I think from just a viewer perspective, from an audience perspective, I would like to see it end at a more normal time. But at the same time, we do have those edited broadcasts that they do play back, and then people can watch that at a pretty normal time. So I kind of see both sides of it. I hope in the future maybe they can fix that. I don't know if it's possible with ESPN, because I'm sure ESPN just has those restrictions on there. And I don't think me and you really... I mean, maybe have you dealt with anything like an ESPN before? Any sort of, I guess, any sort of production like that, or anything like that at all?
No, I haven't. But I do want to say also, I mean, I play in cash games. I'll play a lot of 20-hour sessions, 25-hour sessions, and in those situations, you're playing, and then people wake up and start fresh, and you play with them for 8 hours. Like, at least, in this situation, everybody's just as tired as each other, because they're playing the same hours. So yeah, I think that as a player, the main event, there's probably nothing as exhausting as it, but I don't think it's because of the length of that day. I think it's the length of the tournament, in terms of days, that 12-hour days for a week and a half. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough, because without knowing the numbers from viewership numbers, and not being an expert in television, I think they do, within reason, need to do what's best for the broadcast, but without, I think, hurting the integrity of the tournament, which is why I don't really like the shortening levels.
Yeah, someone in the chat, let me see what he said here. Jared said, WPT halves the levels at Heads Up. No one has ever complained at WPT. So I personally don't know much about WPT and kind of what their structure is. I can understand potentially having the levels as it is Heads Up, and you're going to see more hands. Kind of see both sides of it. I think for me personally, I'd prefer to keep it that 2 hours, keep it the format that it's been pretty much forever, I believe, and really let them battle it out. If it takes a long time, it takes a long time. And I think with that match, we didn't really see any of those big cooler situations happen for the most part. So I think that's why it went on so long. But I think normally in a heads-up match, we're going to see one big hand versus another big hand, and that's kind of going to end it. And we didn't really see that, unfortunately. But we did see some plays, Phil. We saw some plays there, and I think my favorite play. I think my favorite play was this crazy 7-5 offsuit bluff. So if you guys saw the hand, it was 7-5 offsuit. I think it was verse 4-6. What was that flop? The flop was Jack 4-3 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Miles check called. Turn was another 3, I believe. So it was Jack 4-3-3 with 2 diamonds out there. Miles checked raise with his 5-7 offsuit. Sin called with the 4-6. The river was the king of diamonds, so it's King Jack 4. Oh, that's how I remember this. King Jack 4-3-3. Flush draw gets there on the river, and my man Miles 2x pots all in. 2x pots it all in. Love the play, and Sin tanks forever. Says it doesn't make sense, which really doesn't make much sense unless he has pocket jacks, Jack 3. I mean, I guess some hands potentially make some sense, but yeah, overall, one of the craziest bluffs I think we've ever seen in the main event. 2x pot. And just the tank by Sin. I don't know if he was ever actually seriously thinking about calling, but that hand to me stood out as my favorite hand from this year's main event.
Yeah, it was a really, obviously a really fun one. And I think that I think Sin was thinking about calling, and I think that I would have very seriously thought about calling in that spot. But what was working against him is just that Miles hadn't made a big bluff throughout that we'd seen on broadcasts, at least, so Sin probably hadn't seen it either. Maybe he, earlier in the tournament had made some big bluffs and mucked it, but that makes it just so hard to call in that spot. It is tough because he's not representing very much. 3 bets jacks pre. He can have like Jack 3 and 4-3, as well as King 3. I think King 3 is probably the most likely, but I don't think he's shoving a flush for that sizing. And even if he had, like we'd seen him make some reasonable size value bets with huge hands. So even if he had a boat, you could think that he might have bet half pot or something. looking to get value. So it was the story on the turn. The story was fine. He has a lot of 3x that he calls pre and calls flop with. But once he overbet jams the river, I don't know. I mean, I could see his cards, but I was very suspicious about the story, and Sin obviously was as well. But one of the things I tweeted specifically was just, it's so difficult to make that call, because when you're wrong, it's the guy that's never made a big bluff.
Mm-hmm.
You call down with the worst hand you can possibly have, and you just look like a fool in front of millions of people. And if you fold like he did and you're wrong, nobody's like, what a bad fold. So it is, as much as Sin is an experienced poker player, and is just probably trying to make the best plays he can, of course, that stuff affects you no matter what level you're at. And just when you're on the big stage and you haven't been on a stage like that ever before, I mean, very few of us have. I think that it's just impossible, nearly impossible, to bring yourself to make that call, even if you think it's right.
Yeah, I think that I think he kind of talked that hand out, and at the end, I believe he said, "If you're bluffing here, if you're capable of bluffing here, I just have to give it to you." And I think that's kind of something people forget, is that sometimes you got to fold. I mean, I hate folding. You can't win if you fold, but sometimes you just got to fold, and especially in a situation like that. You still have the chip lead. Also, this is a unique situation. Heads up for the main event. So much money on the line. He still had the chip lead after that hand, and if he calls, he's still in it. But he's kind of critical. So I can understand him fold. I mean, obviously, we can understand him folding. He's got the fucking 4-6.
Yeah, I mean, part of
and because we can see. But yeah, the situation certainly, and also you said Miles didn't really make many bluffs before that.
No big bluffs. I mean, he made a couple small bluffs that I saw. But I mean, I hadn't been watching, like I said, the beginning of the final table, but Farah had, and I was watching with her, and she's like, yeah, he hasn't bluffed yet in any big pots. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, certainly folding is part of a GTO strategy. Certainly if you get there with 4-6, that's probably one of your folds in a GTO strategy. But yeah, that's the fun thing about, the main event, like tournament poker in general, and kind of street poker. The more when things just deviate so far from optimal, and you're just trying to read the situation, the game flow, and that specific opponent, and all the emotions and fears and excitement, flowing through them, that things like that can happen. And like I've been talking a lot about the potential call by Sin, but obviously props to Miles for recognizing the spot, not only just.
I don't know about this one, Phil. I'm sorry. I don't know about it. I can't.
Well, but I think
you might. I think. Listen, I think that he went on tilt from a few hands before. He suffered. There was a big hand that he ended up losing. I think he just lost his fucking mind, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what was going on. There wasn't much thought in that river shove, and maybe he had some complex reasoning behind it. But to me, it just seemed like someone who maybe got a little overwhelmed, went a little bit on tilt, and then tried to lose his mind, and then it actually worked out in his advantage.
I could see that, and it is, it could just be, once you've built this big pot and you don't have anything, you feel like going for it. I don't like his river sizing. I don't like that he shoved, because I don't think it makes as much sense. I think that a small bet actually would have gotten a faster fold. But I do appreciate that, he knows that he hasn't been seen bluffing. And there are people on Twitter talking about, how did Dyer call that hand? Miles never bluffs. And, I'm sure that you see that, or his friends see it. So taking advantage of that image and going for it, I wouldn't have picked the sizing, but definitely would have gone for it with his image, and it's not easy to do. It's really not. He's out. He loses the tournament if that doesn't work.
I love how results oriented the poker community is. It's like a bluff like that works. It's like, what a gangster. What a gangster. And then if it doesn't work, you're like, oh my God, this guy, what a fucking idiot. I mean, it's just, there's no in between a lot of times with the general public and even some of the people who are great poker players. I feel like their perception is so skewed by the end result of the hand. And and
not even if he gets hero called there by the 4, but just if Sin has 4-3 for the boat or King 3 and just snaps it, then everybody's like, what an idiot. Just gave that away with no hand to full house. But yeah.
What's the worst hand you call there if you're in Sin spot? What do you think? I
don't play GTO. I mean, I I don't know. It's so tough to say. I feel like I would have called with his hand, but
You're crazy, man.
but you can't. But I mean, I recognize that I can't say that because I could see their cards, and it's just like on that stage, it's just so different than sitting at home on your couch, just watching. So I don't know. But I wouldn't have cared very much about my actual hand. I would have tried to make a read.
Well, I think the other big hand of the match was the last hand when Miles 3-bet. It was 50 big blinds, 50 big blinds deep. Miles 3-bet the Queen 8 offsuit, flop come down, King 5. My man Sin's got King Jack for trip kings, flush draw on the board. Miles C-bet about half pot, and Sin called, turns the 8 of diamonds, 2 flush draws out there, King 8-5, King 8-5 with 2 hearts, 2 diamonds. Miles has Queen 8 with, I believe, 1 heart, maybe the Queen of Hearts, I believe. Could have been the 8 though. He jams all in for about a pot-sized bet, and Sin tanks down with the trip kings for about 3 minutes, talks it out, and then decides to call. And obviously, that's what 0% feels like. Miles gets it in drawing dead. And now I posted about, some people mentioned, was it a slow roll? Was it not a slow roll? I've got a deep theory, but I know you were adamant on Twitter. You didn't think it was a slow roll. A lot of people on my Instagram page have thought that it wasn't a slow roll as well, too. Just the fatigue set in. They've been playing for hours. They look delirious after the fact, which I believe to be true as well. But what are kind of thoughts on that last hand and just kind of the overall what happened there?
I mean, I think in the way that Sin was talking about it during the hand, it felt to me like he felt that he was beat. Like he had the attitude of somebody that was like, wow, I think I'm beat, but I have to call this. And so that's why I really believe that it wasn't a slow roll. He really seemed like I can't believe that, I don't know. I can't believe I might be beat here and lose the biggest pot of the tournament, and that like, but I have trips I have to call. And it really felt like he had a feeling for whatever reason that Miles had one of his, bunch of combos of ace king or king queen, which, is certainly possible. I think that there was no chance he was going to fold. And so that's why I think people are yelling slow roll, which that's a valid argument. I don't think he was going to fold if he thought about it for 20 minutes. I don't think there's like 1% or less chance that he was going to fold, maybe 0. But the fact of the matter is just, you're so tired at that point. Again, not because of the 12-hour session, because of the week and a half of like 3 hours of sleep every night. Which is, I don't know. That's what I made like day 5 or 6 in the main event, and that I was delirious by that point. And they're like, day 10 or whatever it was. But anyways, I think he had a feeling that he was beat, and just wanted to make sure. And I do think, I don't know. And it was clear that he was trying to tell Miles, he was trying to not slow roll him. He was trying to get across that like he has a big hand, but he needs to think about it. But I don't think he found the right words for it, which again, 10 days of no sleep will do to you. And just like the adrenaline of that spot. I mean, I've never, none of us have been in a spot like that, the size of that pot and the size of that stage. So it's very hard to say what is going on in your mind at that point.
Yeah, I don't know, 3 minutes, man. Come on, you got trip kings. You're not folding 50 big blinds.
No, he wasn't folding.
You put them, you pray. You put it in and pray, I think, sometimes. But I mean, I can understand. I'm not going to look any sort of way about the situation after the fact. I can definitely understand it. And I appreciate, kind of talked it out. He said it's not slow roll. I think he was very genuine in his approach to the final table, and the words that he said. I got a very genuine approach from him, and I've only really heard good things about him from people that have dealt with him on a personal level. So I have no reason to believe it was something like that. But the deep theory I have, and this is just a theory, conspiracy theory poppy over here. The deep theory I have is maybe he just didn't secretly like Miles. He wanted to put it in. Yeah, that was his way. That was his way of saying, I don't know, some sort of deep. I'm not sure. Listen, I don't know.
You think like subconscious or?
Yes, I think so. I think subconsciously, maybe he didn't something about Miles he didn't like, and that was his way to fucking just give it to him. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Just, man, listen, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. I
mean, the people that it's look, I don't think it was a slow roll, but the people that don't like it, they have like a valid argument. I just think it's the stage, the situation's unlike anything else that any of us have experienced in poker, and so it's just very hard to judge, I think, what was going on. Then
Yeah, I know. I agree. Listen, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm sure that wasn't the case. But watching it, I'm trying to think. I'm like, maybe he just didn't.
Well, I did honestly notice, like throughout the final table, everybody was really friendly and kind, and I did notice towards the end, like there's a little more tension.
Right, me too.
Between
Yeah.
the two of them. I mean, I do feel like more of it was coming from Miles, and you could see like the stress and just the situation, especially when he was like getting, chipped down at some points. You could see it getting to him. And but I mean, again, that situation's unlike anything else in poker.
Well, I'm sure at some point in time I'll get Sin, we'll get Miles in the podcast, we'll talk with them about it. I mean, these guys are kind of way more Sin. Do you know who got second last year in the main event? Do you know?
Was it Dan Ott?
Okay, Dan Ott, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like the second place is kind of unfortunate. Maybe we forget about them, or they go by the wayside.
I just remember because the Galfond household was pulling for Dan Ott throughout the final table, so that's why I remember. But yeah, you usually don't remember.
Wait a second, I just remembered something, Phil.
Okay.
I don't know how I forgot about this when I'm preparing for the podcast. You're having a goddamn kid. Wait a second.
Yeah.
This is completely. I've just remembered you mentioned the Galfond household, and I just remembered Farah. There is going to be a little Poppy Phil running around here, a little Potlam Omaha prodigy, a little future high stakes crusher. We're having him or her. Hopefully, I'm fine with either one. We're having them in the lab. I mean, what's up with this, Phil? Are you excited about this?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'm super excited. It's still a bit of a ways away. It'll be end of the year, like end of December. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's super exciting.
I love how when you have a kid, you're like, congratulations, you had sex with your wife, or you had sex with your girlfriend, you got them pregnant, congratulations. It's like, I love that, but I mean, you get a lot of that
at the poker table, especially. Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty epic thing, man. How are you planning to kind of balance the workload here, man? You obviously the wife, you got the kid, you have the poker site, you have any potential poker you want to play? Do you have any sort of plan in mind for this? Because I don't know what the hell I would do.
It's going to be tough. I mean, I'm already really busy, so it's certainly going to add to it. I'm sure I can balance it. What's unfortunate is I really would like to get back to playing poker more like I did this summer, and I don't think that's in my near future. Just because, it'll be enough to balance the family, and I mean, the poker site already just takes up all my time. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure I'll figure it out. You adapt to whatever situation is thrown at you, and I'll be fine.
Have you thought about playing some training videos to the stomach, maybe at nighttime or something like that? You just put like a little speaker on there and subconsciously kind of get down. I'm serious, Phil. We got to build some American. We need an American, Phil. This is our time. We need a Potlam Omaha prodigy here.
You're right. Yeah, America does need a PLO prodigy. Okay, no, I haven't thought about that, but that's a great idea.
And then Farah's still playing poker too. She was in the main event. She's been grinding. It seems like she loves playing poker maybe more than anybody. It seems like
she loves the game. Yeah, she took a couple months off because just like, I don't know, morning sickness for the first few months, but she's feeling better now and back at it.
Yeah, what a I don't know, man. That's pretty cool. It's it's a little surreal kind of seeing people and they're having kids, they're getting married. It's just like, I think sometimes you look at yourself and you say, am I going to have a kid? Am I going to get married? And I don't know what the answer to that question is, but
no, it's weird. It's weird too. Even when you never really feel like you're as old as you are and feel like you're growing up and becoming an adult, but it just kind of happens, and you're still a kid at heart.
Mm-hmm. Kind of getting back to the main event, we went a little bit off. But we kind of you said the Galfond house. I was like, wait a second, I forgot about the child announcement here. But yeah, overall, I think it was great, man. I think it was great for poker. It seemed like people really enjoyed it as well too. The commentary from my man Phil Hellmuth, I would pay money to hear Phil Hellmuth commentate just about anything. Yeah. I think that the break desk between Ali and with Nick, I thought they did a really great job. I always enjoy hearing Nick give his insight, and I think Ali's been. I think Ali and Nick have a very special camaraderie that's it's rare to find. Yeah. So overall, I think it was a great presentation, a great show, and a great display of poker. I wish maybe there was a name there besides Joe Cata. Maybe if Kelly Minkin would have made it or something like that. Yeah. That's obviously great for poker in general, for people kind of paying attention. But yeah, overall, I think it was a great showing, man. What's kind of your takeaways from the main event coverage this year?
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that just the people, like the people and their character at the final table, it just like I think put poker's best foot forward, showing that just like poker, there are a lot of pro poker players who are just like good. I think people still, there's just like a stigma associated with gambling, and even though poker's been on TV for a while and people are fans of poker, it's still I don't know, there are a lot of people that still judge poker as a profession or gambling as a profession, and I think it was great that we had some displays of just like good-hearted people. The broadcast was great. Phil's really entertaining. He's saying a lot of things that didn't make sense strategically. Actually, I was like, when there were a lot of conversations back and forth with like Helmuth and Norman and Lon was always the voice of reason. Like he was, I don't know, he was a poker expert in there during that time, because I don't know, it actually surprised me, like some of the stuff Phil was saying, because I actually think Phil's a very strong player, but which some people may not believe, but I mean, results speak for themselves, I think. But yeah, I was confused several times.
I remember one point in time he said Miles hasn't been 3-betting that much. I'm like, this man's 3-bet 50% of the time right now. I don't know. He's like, well, I haven't been watching.
Yeah. Yeah, he did come in. He said a couple times, he's like, I don't know. He had a few things coming in that he repeated about like pre-flop aggression and certain people with more post-flop aggression. And I think he just, I don't know, watched like 10 minutes and decided that's how it was, or maybe somebody talked to him and that's what he decided. But
I'm not sure if he even watched any of it, to be honest. I think he just came in there and firing away, to be honest.
I mean, he's a character. He's fun to listen to regardless.
Yeah, he's very fun. I actually we went out, or he had, like, after he won the bracelet, they had a little gathering at the Aria, and I went over there for a little bit. It was nice to kind of, I don't know, he was shining bright. I felt very happy for him. I mean, it's a pretty epic achievement. 15 bracelets. I don't care how you get there. I don't care what you get them in. I don't care what time period you get them in. We've seen that it's very hard to win these bracelets, and yeah, I think it's quite the accomplishment for Phil. And once again, it kind of quiets those haters a little bit. Let's end that SEC investigation Scott Seaver had opened up earlier this year about the 1.8 markup. All right, let's put that deception case to rest for a couple years. And I mean, I don't know. Do we feel like Phil Hellmuth, is he worthy of the 1.8 markup after a win like that? What do you think, Phil?
I mean, no, I don't think 1.8 is a good investment, but I think he's a certainly like very winning World Series of Poker tournament player, even in expectation, not just in results. But yeah, I mean, 1.8 is quite high for, I think it was for the turbo too, which is the one he won, right?
I think it was for a hyper turbo knockout. So I don't know how that changes.
Okay.
The event he won was a turbo as well. So I believe they were the same 30-minute levels. Maybe there were different chips started with it. I'm not sure, but a very similar kind of format with the event that he did end up winning.
Okay, knockout makes it a little bit worse, but yeah, I mean, I think that he believes that he's worth it. I don't think he's trying to screw anybody over. I think he believes he's worth quite a bit more than that. So I think he thinks he's worth way more than 4.0. I think if he I think so too. Yeah,
maybe he does.
And so I don't think it's unethical, certainly. But yeah, did you catch on the broadcast that he had I think it was, who was it that asked him? It was either Antonio or was it Nick and Ali? But so that they asked him, like, he's got the hat with like the 15 printed on it, and they asked him, how far in advance he has hats printed, and he said he had 15 and 16 before this summer, which is cool.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I don't know, man. I like when Helmuth wins. It's great for everybody. The Germans can kind of talk more shit, and then Phil can subtly jab them. Listen, he did make a pretty big bang at them during the tournament case for Louisville. I don't know if people forgot about that or not, but it's good to see him win. And today we have currently going on the one drop. I believe they're streaming it right now. And not sure about this field, Phil. Did you see this field?
Mm-hmm.
Not many recreationals. Although, to be fair, poor Antonio. Listen, they had Antonio Esfandiari doing commentary till like 4 a.m. or something like that. And then he had to go play the $1 million one drop the next day. He was one of the first people eliminated. I don't know if coincidentally enough, but I can't imagine that was GTO preparation for Antonio.
I think he bailed out before 1. I think, if I remember correctly. I know at some point he's like, all right, guys, I have to sleep.
Late. I was like, is he he's going pretty late here. I know when he bailed out, but I think it was a little bit later. Maybe took around 2 or 3.
All right. Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, either way. But the field, got a couple recreationals. We got David Einhorn currently chip leading right now. Rick Solomon, who I know plays a lot out in the West Coast and kind of been around a little bit. I don't know who the Matthew Siegel guy is from Canada, so I don't know if he's I just don't know anything about him. And then we have, I guess, Talal, who'd be considered not a professional. Kerry Katz, of course, the owner of Poker Central, Poker Go. Who else was in there? But yeah, that was about it. And then we had a bunch of killers in there, Phil. We had a straight killer lineup. And I guess if you look at this lineup with the amount of recreational players that I just said, do you think it's a good investment for the professionals still that are still in this, or how would you kind of gauge it as a poker player?
I mean, I didn't play. I don't think I should have. I couldn't have sold action in good faith because I just but these guys, the thing is with the professionals, I think each of them or each group of them believe that they have a leg up on the others. And so if that's your assumption, then I do think you're going to have a decent edge. But if we treat all the professionals as equal and there's 8% going to charity and it's kind of a fast structure, then yeah, I don't know how much value there is. I think you have to be one of the better professionals to have a reasonable edge in this.
Yeah, I guess how do you figure that out? Because I mean, I'm imagining a lot of these guys. You look at the guys down here: Fedor Holes, the Young Prince, Nick Petrangelo, Dominic Nietzsche, Byron Kaverman, Dan Smith, Bonomo. These are some of the top players who've had great success, who've had great results, who I'm sure have made money for people that have backed them in the past. And I feel like they're all going to think that they're plus EV in this thing. So yeah, I guess, is there a way to sort of figure that out, or is it just? I mean, I don't know. From like I don't think so. My perspective, I just don't know. I don't play many tournaments. I don't know how you figure out what you should sell for, if you should play, or if you're plus EV in a certain lineup.
No, I mean, there's no way to know for sure. There are people who, I mean, the more experienced people who do a lot of backing, I'm sure have better guesses than we do. Perhaps, Timex and the Poker Shares guys have better perspective than we do. But at the end of the day, nobody really knows who has the edge. And I think, if you're wondering, if people out there are wondering, then why are they all, putting up $1 million, or how do they get people to invest $1 million if nobody's sure? And it's the same reason that you see pros playing heads up and battling all the time. I mean, usually when I'm playing in, maybe not usually, but a lot of the time when I'm playing in, Ivey's room or Bobby's room, it's just a table full of pros, and everybody thinks they have the edge, and that's just, that's how poker happens.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes even you might not think you have the edge, but you think you're break even and you want to gamble, or you want to play, you're feeling good, or you can get people to invest in you. So it's I don't know, man. I think this event was could have been a lot better, Phil. Could have been a lot better. Could have been better marketed. Could have been better in terms of the turnout, getting the people there. I know that's hard. I know that's challenging, but I don't know if there's a dedicated person kind of taking care of this or not, like there are for the 300K super high rollable, for something like that.
Yeah. But in the past, Guy would play a very big part in it. Like for the first ever one drop, I think he, flew around and talked to businessmen about coming to play. And it made a difference. And, I don't know, he's busy doing other things. But,
I believe he's no longer involved in this right now. So I don't think he has any involvement in the one drop right now. I'm pretty sure about that. That's what I've been told by a couple people. Okay. And I mean, it does kind of show, and that shows you how the personal relationships can build something like what went down. And I don't know if we're going to see this again in the future. I don't even know if it matters at all. I don't think having it at the time that they had it was the best option, for just because this is one of the biggest tournaments of the year, and the Rio is completely shut down. There's no cash games. There's no other tournaments going on. The Amazon room is basically empty except for the one drop. This just doesn't make much sense to me to have it at the end here. I don't know when you have it, but
but if I'm billionaire hedge fund owner, I don't know if I want to walk through the halls of the Rio when the PLO giant is letting out a break and 1,000 people run through the hallway. I could see it both ways. I could see them liking kind of the more relaxed atmosphere now, but the timing, I mean, definitely for players who were going to play other things, the timing is not great, for sure.
Yeah, I can see that too. Maybe that but I mean, to be fair, we didn't get any of these guys really showing up for this. I mean, does David Einhorn not play if it's during the PLO Giant? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just kind of think that
I don't think I mean, he plays the main. He's played the main many times. I don't think he minds the crowds.
Yeah, I don't think he minds the crowds either. I don't know. I mean, we could say, you know, maybe putting that main event on the 4th of July wasn't a good idea, but at the same time, it was the second biggest turnout. So
that shocked me, by the way. I really thought it was not going to go well because there were, I mean, it's always like hovering around the 4th of July, but also this wasn't on a weekend. None of the day ones were on a Saturday or Sunday. So I thought it was going to be kind of disastrous, and I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm wrong. I thought it was wrong. Our second biggest turnout. And so it's a 10-day event. What is it? 10 days or 13 days? How many? I can't believe 7,800 people put up $10,000 and they might make it 10 days in there. It's just crazy to me that many people, I mean, obviously now that them aren't going to make it, but they could make it that far. And just I don't know, it kind of blows my mind, man, that many people put up that amount of money and commit potentially to that many days of poker in a row.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing. If you make day 5, and you have to call in sick for a week of work, then, you know, cool. I think it's a good problem to have. And so as long as people feel good about the first few days, yeah, I think it's all right to take that risk and deal with cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's another way to do the main event. I think it kind of has to be this long, and there has to be that many day ones. There has to be a couple of day 2s as well. I don't know exactly what can be done differently. I don't know if anything needs to be done differently because the event has been successful. I think everyone really raves and they seem like they really enjoy the event. So maybe it's the perfect format. I'd like to see a break in between when we get to that final table potentially, or a break at some point in time, give people a day off, let those people kind of fly out here and have that experience with the people that they love, with their friends and their family. But that kind of be my only thing, would maybe see a break, a day or 2 in between, and really maybe make the set a little bit special. You know, we use that same mothership for all the tournaments, main event. You know, let's try to make this a little bit more special. I feel like that's something to potentially think about in the future if you're Poker Goer, Poker Central, the World Series of Poker. Yeah,
I agree. And I mean, I think they used to have like a media day break where they did interviews. It'd be nice to just give them a day to relax and catch up on sleep. Also, I mean, I know that like when you get to the final table in the main event, you have a lot of potential to land like a sponsorship deal, but you don't want to be reading paperwork, you know, when you have like 2 hours to fall asleep and then wake up the next day to play the final table. So it does kind of hurt that opportunity for the guys that make it there. So yeah, I think a day or 2, maybe 2 days, probably be nice before the final table starts, and then. But otherwise, I do generally like how it is.
Yeah. Overall, series, I got some thoughts. It has to be in a video, guys, because I mean, when I see the World Series of Poker, I think about it as one of the most prestigious events in the entire world, and especially prestigious events in the poker world, and honestly in the world, Phil, because when you look at other industries, where else do you have something like the World Series of Poker, where the entire community, for the most part, gathers in one location for 6 weeks and plays high-stakes cash games and tournaments? The best players in the world are in Vegas for that 6, and people will argue they're in LA, they didn't come here, whatever it is. It is what it is. But what else do you have? I don't know any other industry that has something like this. It's almost unbelievable that they're able to get this together each year for 6 weeks. It's just,
no, there's nothing like it. And not to mention the main event. I mean, just imagine if just the biggest football fans could go play in the Super Bowl. Like in poker, you can play in the Super Bowl. You just show up with $10,000 and you're playing.
Yeah, Sasha's in the chat. She says, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Listen, guys, 1 like equals 1 day sooner. Phil Galfond will release Run It Once Poker. That's not actually true. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's cool to see, man. It's great. It's I might potentially, I don't know. I heard I might have a job with the World Series of Poker next year, Phil. I don't want to get too much into that. I hear I've been kind of digesting what I've been potentially offered here, and I might be able to actually make a change for the better for the World Series of Poker in the future. Yeah, so I'm excited about that potential possibility.
I know also. I was going to say that I know I played with and then read tweets from David Baker, who always has suggestions,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always good suggestions. And he's always saying, you know, I'm happy to help. I really do think, yeah, with some small changes, it could be even better. And I think they're not very difficult changes to make for the most part. So yeah, I hope they're, you know, listening to the players, and I kind of think they are. I don't really know.
I have a goal. I don't set goals very often in terms of more like a dream. You know, my dream, I always make it to the high stakes, or dream was to build a great podcast. My dream is definitely to help turn the World Series of Poker. I think it's special now, but to really make it even more special in terms of just the entire process of it all, in terms of the way it looks, in terms of the way that people enjoy themselves there and the player experience there. I think that's certainly one of my big goals right now, is to really have an impact and take the World Series Poker to another level that I really believe that it can go. And I believe that there's a lot of things that are very simple fixes, as you said, that would enhance the experience overall greatly. And definitely one of my goals to have an impact on that in the future. So
awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot that can be done, and yeah, to make it just amazing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you, man. Let's where was I going after that?
I think you were reading.
Oh yeah, I was reading comments. People have been asking about Negreanu. They've been asking about Daniel Negreanu. I haven't been following much of D-Next Summer. I know he's been hard on the video blog grind. I don't know how the hell he does it, where he just kind of records it and then the people put it out the next day. I think it's been pretty incredible to see. But I don't know much about his summer. Have you been knowing anything about his summer at all? You followed along at all with that?
No, not. I mean, I watched a few of the vlogs, and I mean, I've played with him a few times, but no, I don't know much about how he's doing. And yeah, I agree. I don't know how he keeps up with that. Like it's not easy.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has specific questions about D-Negs. Feel free to put them in the chat. It looks like he is eliminated from the one drop, and the young Prince Fader Holes is currently leading. My man Phil Ivey is in the mix. It's good to see Phil Ivey back. Phil, have you had a chance to play with Phil Ivey at all?
Yeah, I played with him quite a bit in the 50K. Sat next to him for a lot of it. Had some good conversation. He's having fun. But yeah, it's great to see him back. I mean, he's always just one of the most iconic, and I don't know. He's got like this mystique about him that nobody else, I think, in poker has. And even though he's been, I don't know, kind of out of the limelight a little bit, he's still just, yeah. I mean, I think that he has an effect. I don't know if he's, I don't think he's the most famous in terms of most known poker player. Obviously, he's up there, but I think the effect that he has is kind of different, or the feeling you get when you see him on a table is different than anybody else.
Do you think it's because he is so quiet, or he's so mysterious in terms of we just don't know much about him, and that's why he sort of gives off that aura of that? Or is it just his attitude and demeanor kind of combined with that? Or what do you think it is that has him give off that?
I'm not sure. I think some of it is his demeanor. It's also different for me as a pro, and I've been playing for a while. He was the person on TV that I, from 10 years ago, who was definitely the best. Like, he was just much better than all the other famous players. And so that always, I think, for me, made him stand apart. He was just, the best poker player in the world, I think, for quite a while. And but yeah, I don't know if for the general public, if they have that same kind of feeling about him, or what causes it.
Yeah, I don't know. If I play with Ivey, I'm trying to bluff him as much as I'm trying to race him. I'm 3-bet him, especially in the great game of Omaha. I'm taking to the streets against him, man. And I don't know if that'll ever happen or not, but maybe one day in one of these PL events. But I don't know.
His table presence is very intimidating. Like, it is tough. I feel like he doesn't get bluffed very much, which is actually a great place to be in a tournament if nobody's going after you.
Huh, is it? Let me think.
Yeah, in a cash game, I'm happy to be bluffed, like people. But in a tournament,
yeah, I guess I don't want to be bluffed.
You kind of want people to just get out of your way. Yeah.
Yeah, Ivey. Maybe Ivey's been playing a lot of Omaha lately because he launched it off with the blockers with the 9-9 there, and against the Queen Jack. I didn't really see the hand. I just know I saw he had 9-9. The board was Queen Jack 8 something, and he was busted from the feature table, or one of the feature tables, which is not a very fun way to go. I'm sure. I imagine he's probably pretty disappointed about that, and he wanted to have a deep showing.
I think that the main event's different than, and I don't think I've done enough of a good job capitalizing on this, but I think that you just find spots in the main event, especially where people are going to fold 95% of their range, and you just don't get that in a lot of cash games. And And I think that's something that I'm sure he and a lot of other players have had a lot of success with, and then sometimes they end up looking silly. Vanessa Selbst, somebody else who I think has probably crushed tournaments by making plays that look ridiculous, but have opponents folding 95% of their range.
You want to talk about Vanessa? Okay, let's talk about Vanessa Selbst. So Vanessa Selbst, she had a infamous hand history this summer in the main event, and was not received well on Twitter. Was very something words were said, and I did tweet something out and said, I mean, come on, I feel like we're being a little harsh. I understand she may bring this on herself with some of the way she acts and some of the arguments she gets into and some of the things she said about current poker strategy. But I think they were a little harsh on her, brother, for that play she made. I think.
I mean, I understand. I think that some people, look at her as a little bit of a villain in the poker world, which she shouldn't be. I mean, I understand, like you said, I understand why they do, but I think it's kind of, and so basically, I think some people are looking for a reason to criticize her. I don't know. I mean, I think that I kind of I know that I tend towards being generally positive and defensive, but I really think Vanessa obviously knows that that's not a GTO play. And she obviously knows that she obviously had a read that in that case was wrong. But, she is one of the most successful tournament players for a very long time. And I think pretty much exclusively because of making reads like that and being right more often than she was wrong. And so I don't know. It's just you run into the part, when we make a play, you make a bluff with a reasonable hand and you run into the part of the range that wasn't folding. You're like, okay, well, that time it didn't work, but I think 65% of the time it's going to work. And I think that's the case here. She, for whatever reason, she had physical reads, game flow reads, anything else, reads on this player. She thought it was going to work often enough to show a profit. And, who are we to say that she was wrong? Maybe he just has ace high or some junk 60% of the time there, and it gets through, and we never see her hand. We never see that she shoved with no equity because she just mucks the winner. But I don't know. She it's hard to argue with the fact that she's it's hard to argue with her results, and we know that the way she's gotten those results is not GTO play. It's making reads and backing her reads up with crazy play.
Somebody just told me a hilarious tweet. It's unrelated. Dave Anderson said Dominic Niche tweeted down to 16 in the one drop. I finally get to play with two people I used to watch a lot when I was younger, Phil Ivey and Rick Solomon. If you guys don't get that joke, it's because Rick Solomon has a sex tape with Pamela Anderson on the internet. And so Dominic's saying he used to jack off to Rick Solomon back in the day. And which is fucking hilarious. I mean, come on. Oh my God, man. Hilarious.
That's a really good tweet.
I feel like Dom's coming into his own, man. I'm liking the progression I'm seeing from Dom, man. He's Paris Hilton, my bad. Listen, I can't keep track. Obviously, I didn't watch the sex tape. It's Paris Hilton. Sorry, I forgot. I don't know. I didn't keep track of that. So if you want to link to it, you got to go find the link yourself. So
yeah.
But yeah, kind of Vanessa Selbst. I don't really have much more to say about Vanessa Selbst thing. She does not really play much poker anyway. She's not really, I wouldn't consider her part of the poker world right now. She's kind of moved on from poker. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. The moment kind of came and the moment kind of went. I don't know if we'll have another moment with Vanessa Selbst in the future. I do think that she's always had great results, been a great player, a very aggressive player and fearless player. And I am all for players shoving it all in with 0% equity personally. I don't know. I want players to make plays like that. I'm not one to bash them for that, or not one to try to tell them to not do that. If you want to put all your money with Jack 8 when there's no Jack or 8 out there and you don't have a backdoor quad draw, I'm more than happy to encourage that kind of play personally. So I'm not trying to have less of that play happen.
Yeah, no. I mean, my biggest regret of my poker career was not making a play like that when I was pretty sure that it would work. And it was I was at a final table 5 years ago or something, and heads up for the bracelet in the 25K no limit 6 max, I think. And I really wanted to shove with no equity, and I just couldn't do it because I've never shoved with no outs. I think on the flopper turn. You just, I don't know. Just
Never?
always have.
Never.
I mean, I've ended up with no outs because I run into like something that I didn't think I was going to run into. But I always think that I have some outs. I always think I have a gut shot at least or something. And
But they're fair draw.
yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, being able to make that play. I mean, I would imagine that probably sometimes even in GTO play, maybe not. I'm trying to think if you end up showing with no outs, but you might. I mean, probably occasionally.
Keep going.
I mean, I don't know.
Listen,
but anyways, it's like
with 0 outs, Phil, you got to do it. I'm on board with that.
There are times you definitely should, and I wish that I was willing to do it more often, or willing to do it. I still don't think I have. I need to get on that.
Yeah, Phil, maybe 14, 15 years into your career, it's time to start adding in the old shove with no equity into your game plan.
Yeah.
Could be a good idea. We had a good question from Cam earlier, and I actually think I know the answer to this. Where'd it go? How does exercise and diet go for Phil while he's grinding the World Series?
It varies a lot. So my exercise and diet, just in general, I'm either like doing well or I'm not doing well. And usually not doing well. Usually the summer's a really bad time. Actually, so I lost a lot of weight before the summer. I don't know. I probably lost like 20 pounds, which I'm not a big guy, so that's a lot of weight. And then I actually very, very intelligently made a bet with my friend, because I knew that when you play poker, you're not going to keep up with, or maybe you can. I can't keep up with exercise. You end up playing 24-hour sessions and getting really hungry and things like that. So I made a bet with a friend. I mean, I free rolled him, but he's going to give me a similar free roll. Basically, just every time I eat something, like I made a list of things that I can't eat, and I just pay him $200 anytime that I do. And so I just did that for the summer. I only owe him $400, so it's pretty good summer, and that worked. I mean, I still like end up eating some things that aren't great, but I didn't put on weight this summer just because But no, I haven't been working out.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's so hard to maintain a GTO diet and
so
workout schedule during these tournament series and playing cash games all night long. It's I don't know how anyone can do it. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If you can do it, that's I guess if you play tournaments, you're sort of waking up at a set time and you're usually going to sleep at a set time, which is late if you keep making day 2s and day 3s. So I mean, I don't know. It's got to be tough, man.
In tournaments, if you don't need a lot of sleep, you can do it, and you're just playing tournaments because it's on a schedule. Cash games, though, sometimes you wake up and you have 15 minutes to get to the Bellagio to get the last seat in a really good game. And so that's, you don't fit in a 1-minute workout before you put on a hat and leave the house without showering. So, yeah, I mean, in the cash games, it's just too difficult. And sometimes you end up with those 20-hour, 30-hour sessions.
I guess the GTO is kind of what Jay Kuhn does. He's always has a meal. He's always has a couple meals. Every time I watch him on a live stream, he's always eating, it seems like. So maybe that is kind of what it is that you just have to remain disciplined to actually eat your meals during poker, whether that's ordering from a place at the Bellagio, or ordering from a place at Aria, like Lemongrass, or whether that's getting my man All-American Dave's. Actually, not my man. I've never met him before, but getting All-American getting All-American, I don't know who he is. Getting All-American Dave food during the tournaments. I feel like there's ways. You just drink a lot of water. You try to watch your posture. And I'm not saying I did these things, but that seems theoretically like the approach that one might take in order to optimally perform and to maintain that energy throughout a long World Series poker.
Yeah, I mean, for me in the past, what always happens, I actually always eat pretty well while I'm playing. Because, I mean, maybe also you when you're playing in like Bobby's room or Ivey's room, you end up with like more ordering options than some of the other guys. So that's an advantage. But yeah, I think it works well to eat like pretty healthy and not too carb heavy while you play for focus. And so I always have no problem doing that. In some cases, kind of forget to eat because you're just focused on the game. Yeah. But my problem is always when the session's over and I come home, or go out to eat after poker's over. That's when I get in some real trouble.
Like that one time you met me at the Win Sportsbook and you said you were going to have 2 or 3 meals or something.
Yeah, That was a at least 24-hour session.
You're like, I'm gonna have like 3 meals. Like, what are you talking about?
When you play for 24 hours and you eat like one meal, sometimes, you know.
Well, I can just see what you mean. I can see what you mean. I
You
guess out of
wasted.
line because if you
Yeah.
finish up and you have 2 or 3 meals, then at once that could be something that maybe gets your body and gets your rhythm a little off track.
Yeah, and I don't know if the science behind it, but there seems to be like, I don't know, when you're playing and you're focused and you're playing huge pots, you have adrenaline pumping, like there's some kind of state that you're in that when you finish, your body's just in a weird state where you're exhausted and I don't know, I get really hungry.
We should do a prop bet where we have to sit upright while we play. I don't know how your posture is when you play, but for me,
good.
I try and I'm still like my shoulders are just getting moved. I don't know how. I think Berkey's got great posture. He looks like he's 7 feet tall when he's on the table. But I don't know how people can do it, man.
No, me neither. That would be good for me. I can't do it. I always end up with my like really bad right shoulder pain because that's my arm that I'm shuffling chips with, and it's kind of just like supporting itself the whole time.
We need training material on this. I don't know who's the GTO guy for this, but
I don't either. Yeah.
Maybe
actually, Tommy Angelo is all about posture at the table. He might be the GTO guy.
Oh, Tommy Angelo. Well, he's GTO for a lot of things, man.
Yeah, he is.
Jay Weber says, get posture correcting straps. Actually, not a bad idea. I just need something that holds my back in place while I play poker, so I'm not.
Yeah.
All right, you can get a massage. I got one massage. I swear to God, Phil, this woman did things to me at the poker table. I didn't know. She was up my shirt. My shirt's at my back. I tweeted about this. She's lotioning up my entire body during the 10K Omaha main event. And I didn't know how to feel. And be honest with you, I felt great. At the same time, I felt very exposed. I felt very vulnerable at that time. And I don't know if it's GTO. I just don't know. I don't know if that was the massage to get.
I had a similar experience. So I don't get massages very often at the table, but sometimes do, like the long cash game sessions. And that never happens at I don't know, when I play at Aria, which is usually or Bellagio. But I got a massage at one point when I had played. I busted out of the 25K PLO on day 2, and then hopped into the 10K triple draw right then, and I was just tired and hurting. So I got a massage, and she immediately did the exact same thing, just like shirt like almost over my head in the middle of the Rio. And it took me, I ended up telling her to stop, but it took me like 20 minutes before I was like, I was working up the courage for 20 minutes to be like, can you keep my shirt on? Please.
Oh man. Yeah. I feel like the whole entire, like picking a massage therapist. I don't know what the strategy you use when you go into it, but I'm sitting there at the Rio, they're walking around, they're like making eye contact with you. They're so seductive. It's like, I'm like, hello, hi. And they're like, I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard. And then you see a few other people getting massages, especially in the higher stakes tournaments. It seems like all the guys, they have the regular massage girl and they get them for like 7 hours. And I don't know how you can possibly get a massage for 7 hours, but some of these guys manage to do it.
Yeah, they do. And they do. I don't have I don't get massages enough, or haven't tried to have a regular, but they do. I think that's if you play a lot of tournaments, GTO way is you find a good one. And
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't do it. I'm not GTO. So.
Yeah, the only other big takeaway was they have these fruit cups at the Rio Cafe. It was $8 or $9 for this fruit cup fill. I had about 4 of them during the PLO event, and I was like, these prices are just ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Well, when they I guess I don't know what WSOP has. I think they probably have all different rules, but like All American Dave prices are kind of high as well. But I remember when we had a Run It Once lounge at the World Series, like you'd come in and have coffee, and we had like jars of peanuts and M&Ms and stuff like that. And they don't let you bring in your own stuff. And they're like, okay, so you can offer them coffee for this much. You can give them, like, you get this big bag of M&Ms for like $40. Like everything's crazy marked up. And so I know that like the stuff that we had to offer in the lounge, we had to buy from Rio at like 8x cost.
Sasha says you get comps for your buy-ins. Do you know that? I didn't know that.
I did know that. Yeah, you do. So you can use them. So yeah, if you have your player's card, I actually just found this. So I knew that you could use them there. So like when I would buy water, I just buy a lot of water while I played. I would use it, but you can also, I think you have like till the end of the year or maybe longer at any property. What is it? Caesars? Who owns
It's Caesar.
Harris?
So it's like
Yeah, Caesar. Yeah.
Caesars, it's Planet Hollywood, and
Yeah. So I think most places you can go have dinner and pay with your points.
well, that might mean that sounds like I have a dinner in the
Yeah.
future. Here. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you
It
do.
sounds like a GTO dinner. Guys, let's get some questions from the chat out there, and I'll get some shout outs here. Who we got out here, man? Rory, Kiyohani, what's up, Poppy? Where's the masseuse from your 50K hands video? I actually don't know where she's at. So I've tried. I can't remember her name, to be perfectly honest with you. And she lived next to me at the time, and I also think she may or may not have been a dancer. It is another story from another time. But shout out to you, man. Taylor Wick in the chat. What's up, Taylor? What's happening? Damian Willis. What up, Damian? What's happening, Big Poppy? When are you two coming to Australia next? I have no plans to go back to Australia anytime soon, personally. Phil, you going back to Australia anytime soon?
Every year we talk. I've never been to Australia, and every year I think about going, and every year I don't. This year it's not going to happen because it'll be like right after having a child, so not the best timing. But I will go eventually, and but yeah, it's kind of silly that I haven't yet.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Anthony Kotlavita, Puppy. What's up, man? DPAR28. What's going on, brother? Jonathan, Alexis, Urina. What up, Puppy? What's happening, Papito? Puppy. It's been fun this summer, man. It's been fun. Have been any of the fans came up and talked to you at all, or any people that has made comments to you or had any conversations with you?
Oh yeah. The summer is always good for that. This one more than most. Just meet a lot of really cool people. Like generally, I don't know. I find generally that the people that talk to me, that follow me and are excited to meet me, are all pretty cool. Like, not weird, just cool guys. And I always enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've met a lot of weird people though, and I got love for my weirdos. Shout out to my weirdos out there. You guys know who you are. But yeah, it's always pretty cool to see, especially with the podcast stuff like that. When you play the 10K PLO, or you play some of these PLO events, and then everyone talks about how they enjoy the podcast, and these are people that are also great poker players too. I think that's been the kind of coolest thing for me to see this summer, is because I always try to make these stuff and do these podcasts for great players out there. So it's always really cool to just see that people out there are watching it, are enjoying it, are wanting more of it too. And yeah, it's certainly a motivating thing to kind of keep going with it. And I know for you, you're hopping into the content game full stride here with the Run It Once YouTube channel. You have a couple of videos up right now. You also had the vlog in the works of when you won the bracelet. Kind of talk more about the YouTube channel you got in the works here. Run It Once.
Yeah. We started towards the beginning of the summer. I don't know how long we've been going now, and have some pretty cool stuff up. We hired a guy named Colin, who's handling all of it. Basically, he's shooting, filming, editing, directing, if there's any directing to do. And he's just done a really great job. And so, there's already there's a 2-part series on my run in the 50K Players Championship. There are a lot of kind of smaller stuff. There's some things where we followed, I don't know, there's some funny videos with Leo and Ola. I don't know if you've seen those, but you'll I think enjoy them. And then generally some other stuff. He followed me on day 3 of the PLO8 10K, which is the one that I won. He was at the Rio filming me all day. And so even like caught some hands, like a lot of the bigger hands I played like on camera. And it takes to do, if you check out the current stuff, like to do it at the quality he's doing it, takes a while to edit together and finish, but he's working on it, and I think it'll turn out really well. And what else? We filmed a lot of stuff this summer that'll take a while to come out, but we're trying to stick to I think every 3 days releasing something, and so that's what we've been doing. Colin doesn't like when people call them vlogs, because he thinks it's that's like you shoot on your phone and put it up by yourself, and it's a little more artistic.
Well, after meeting Colin, I know he comes from more of a film background kind of. So I can understand why vlog to him.
Yeah.
But everything they call my stuff a vlog. They call this a vlog sometimes now.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah, I try not to get too caught up in the vernacular.
I just call it a vlog to needle him.
That's some Nick Schulman kind of vernacular right there. I really like Nick Schulman's commentary. He does a great job of making every play seem feasible. Like you jam it in with 8-2, he can justify it. He can justify any play. It's awesome. I love watching him and love listening to him.
Yeah, he does a great job of that while still providing strategic insight, which is hard to do because I know that I've done a lot of commentary, and in the past I think I've slightly improved, but in the past, and still do a little bit too much, is well, what you end up doing, especially as somebody that makes a lot of training videos, is you say like, okay, well, here's how this spot should work, and this is what I think he should do, and here's why. And then when he doesn't do it, you're like, okay, well, I don't know. Or when he does something like makes a crazy bluff that I think is really bad, then it's not good TV if you're like, well, he just made a dumb play. So I actually got some notes this summer when I went in the booth with Ali one time. One of the guys at PokerGo said, talk about what they've done, not what they should do. And that I think helped me, and I think it makes for better commentary when you wait to see what they do, you talk about why they did it, you speculate as to why they might have done it, and rather than kind of just making it a training video and making it kind of like that, the right way to play, and these players out there playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I like that approach to it. I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of the commentary has been that in the past, where the player should do this, or if he didn't do that, this is why it's wrong, and that kind of thing like that. I've never been the biggest fan of doing strategy, anything like that, because I don't know. I mean, who am I to tell someone what they should or shouldn't do, and why is that play always 100% right play? I think there's ways to justify them. I think Nick just does a great job really explaining that, and I think the way that he talks about poker kind of is a way to show other poker players out there that everything isn't necessarily this or that. Yeah. There's reasons for both, and it's somewhere in the middle, and there could be good or it could be bad, both sides of the thing.
Yeah.
So I think he's done a really great job of kind of displaying that to poker players and to the poker audience.
For sure. They're the people that, I mean, probably most of the people watching this, and just people more involved in the poker community, I think would prefer a lot of strategic content. Whereas there are a lot of people that are just fans that don't understand it and don't want to get bogged down with that, and it ruins the experience for them. And I think that Nick finds the line and walks the line perfectly, where he's kind of appealing to all sides.
I also like his Twitter game too. I feel like Twitter's really stepped it up this summer, Phil. I don't know what's going on. Thank God you got in the mix a little bit too. I feel like Nick's been doing a great job. I feel like a couple other people out there been doing a pretty good job this summer on Twitter, just kind of enhancing the experience for the poker world in general, because so much of the poker world is on Twitter. They're on there scrolling through their phone daily when they're playing, and people are fans all over the world. And I feel like the value that poker Twitter has given us this summer has been, people have been a little bit more witty, a little bit more funny. And I really enjoy what I've been seeing out there. It's been fun to kind of follow along with people and their pursuit of poker success, or their pursuit of losing all their money. It's been an enjoyable experience to be on poker Twitter this summer.
It has, yeah. I mean, summer's great. Summer's fun, and I agree that people have stepped it up for sure. And let's also not sleep on Ali, who does a great job. And I think that, I think you kind of can't have Nick without Ali. And I don't know. We all love Nick so much, but you really need Ali's great, and you need kind of you need both of them for sure. I think that if Nick was in there by himself, it would be a much different feel, a much different dynamic. He wouldn't be as brilliant as he is with Ali there.
I don't know. I would listen to Nick just talk for like 3 hours. Why not? Maybe Nick and Helmy could do some strategy together.
That'd be pretty entertaining.
No, but I do think Ali does an amazing job. Yeah. He sets him up well. He's got a very good sarcastic personality. Him and Nick have a rapport with each other that is very special, and I think they definitely feed off of each other, and they're only getting better and better. So
the most fun is, to see them. I love when they just end up, like, a broadcast goes, super late because the heads-up match never ends, and they just are delirious, and they're just having fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. We got I'll take a couple more questions here from the chat right now. I think Drea was in the chat for a little bit. Drea Renee, one of the best massage therapists at the Rio. She also started doing, I think, a new vlog type of thing like that as well too, I believe. So
yeah, and she's already done some of this, but spent a couple days filming, what's it called? It's a Poker Central, Poker Go.
Oh yeah, deep issues.
Yeah, deep issues, and I was on there this time, so that'll come out eventually.
Will it be on Poker Go? Use promo
Yeah.
code Joey if you're on there.
Yeah.
I'm the worst at advertising this. I'm actually the worst because
Me too. I mean, we have a promo code too. I don't use it. I run it once, but yeah.
What's the promo code?
I think it's run it once.
Okay.
But we show it like any of our videos that use Poker Go content. We tell people to go sign up and at Poker Go with run it once. Yeah.
Wait, what's this? James Rudvikowski says, "Can we talk about how embarrassingly thirsty D-Negs is in his vlog now that he is single?" What? I didn't see this. I would like to see this. Can somebody link this? Listen, man, we call Daniel the low-key savage for a reason, LKS. We don't call him the young girl grinder, the low-key savage for nothing. The man's on the grind. I don't know what y'all think about Negreanu, but the man is on the grind, okay? He's getting after it in ways that people out there just can't imagine. So I don't know if this was a secret or not, but the secret's out apparently, according to his vlog. So the man's a celebrity, of course. I mean, I don't know. What do you mean? Why not? So why not? I don't know. You haven't seen it? Phil's married. He's done. He's got his wife. He's got the kid here coming. He's got his poker site coming. So what's the plan here kind of coming up for this next month or two?
I'm gonna head out. Well, series is over soon. We're visiting Farah's family in Kentucky for about a week, and then sometime soon I'll head out to Malta. It's gonna depend after I kind of like get back to the day-to-day and figure out where we're at. Need to head out there and basically, take us to launch. Not that I'm going to be not that they need me to get to launch, but be there for that. And so that's coming up. But like I said, I don't know exactly when. And then just back to the grind, out of the poker spotlight, out of playing the games, unfortunately.
It sounds sad. It sounds sad, Poppy. You sound sad thinking about
I am. I mean, I miss poker. I love poker. But I got my fix, for this month and a half, and we'll have another chance.
There's got to be a way for you to get some more poker fix in here, whether it's like there's got to be a way, whether it's a game you play each week or something like that, whether it's live. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to also be. I know it's hard to only play once a week and then not want to play more, especially if you have a big losing day or even if you're in a good game. So
it's also hard to. I mean, for anybody, we're all competitive, and to play every once in a while and not really focus on it, not really improve. That's part of the fun is getting better and challenging myself, and so it's tough to not have much time for it. And what I've done so far is like focus a lot on it for a week, a month, or something at a time, and then take a break for a while. Not that keeps me up to speed as much as it would if I was playing full time and studying and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I would like to get to a point one day where, I mean, we're still like we have a lot more employees than we did when we were just run it once training, but we're still a small business. And I think that, if all goes well, which I hope it does, one day we'll be a bigger business, and I won't have to be like, have my hands in all the smaller things that I do now. And then maybe there's some time for poker while still, keeping up with the work and the decisions and things like that.
Maybe we can have a weekly heads up match. We stream. It sounds bad for me, but we can have a weekly heads up match, Phil. We play at the same time each week. We stream it out. I don't know how long it would be. It could be something right there. It could be on the site. We could set up a special table. I don't know. It could be a play money. We don't want to violate any sort of government rule, regulation, TOS. We ain't looking to violate TOS around here, guys.
Right.
We love TOS.
We love TOS.
We're not looking to violate no fucking TOS around here, guys. Us. So maybe it could be something like that. We both get a little bit of fix in there, something like that. I don't know. There's got to be some ideas for some fun things to kind of combine everything we're doing together, whether it's content or whether it's wanting to play poker, those sorts of things like that. Because that'd be fun. Not fun for me actually, but it'd be
no, it's a good idea.
Doesn't sound fun for me, but it does actually. Maybe it does sound fun. I don't know.
I think it's fun. Yeah, it does sound fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Can we do that on the site? Could we set something up on the site where it's not for?
Yeah, I think we can do
like a promo or something like that.
I'm sure we can. I mean, definitely for play money. If it's not for money, I think we should be fine. But I'll get a real answer.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's talk to I don't know who we talk to, the regulators or whoever it is that's in charge. I'm sure they're corrupt anyway. So no shots at them. It is what it is. But yeah, guys, a couple more shout outs here. Ben Williams in the chat. What up, Ben? What's happening, Big Puppy? Brandon David in the chat. Jay Perez, my man Cam. What's up, Cam? Win Sanity, Sky Hunter, LS. You guys shout outs to give Phil? You want to give a shout to someone out there? Farah, you want to give a shout to anybody else?
Yeah, shout out to Farah and baby Galfond.
Do we have any names potentially for the baby if it's a man?
Some are floating around, but we're not. No, there are no front runners yet or clear winners yet. You really want it to be a man?
Listen,
a man baby.
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about, maybe I'm selfishly thinking what I would want to have as a kid. I'd want to have a little poppy. I don't want a little mamacita running around getting a lot of. I don't listen.
Yeah, I'm happy either way. I think Pharaoh wants a girl, but I'll be happy with whatever.
I want a little prodigy personally, man. We got to fight these people. We got to fight them off. The bots, the Russians, the Germans out there. We need to fight these guys off. And I feel like it has to start when they're young. I feel like it has to start when they're 1, when they're 2. Get them into game theory really quickly. Get them playing with the simulators really quickly. And I don't know, man. I'm just brainstorming ideas, man. It's an idea I had a long time ago. So. Yeah, guys, that'll be it. I'll if you want to watch Phil's content, check out his Run It Once YouTube channel as well. If you have any questions, ask him on Twitter at Phil Galfond. If we'll be back doing content this week. Got a video coming out tomorrow, hopefully about Phil Hellmuth. And then podcast Thursday, Sean D. Podcast next Monday with the Supreme Leader, Douglas K. Polk. And yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of podcasts coming up here. Let me know what you guys think about the video in the comments. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you hate it. And that's it. Phil, any last parting words?
No, thanks. That was fun, as always. Thanks for having me.
Peace out. Adios.
See ya.
Take care. Much love. See you guys later.